You're watching The Red Booth Show with me, Anthony Tiny Biuso.
Hi, welcome to The Red Booth Show. I'm your host, Kimberly Q. On tonight's episode, I have Anthony Tiny Biuso, and he is an amazing drummer that has traveled all over the world and done so much more. So, come and join us. So, hey, Tiny, how's it going?
What's shaking, Bacon? How are you, Kimberly?
This is really cool. I've been wanting to have you on the show for a while, and
Nice.
I know that you're like doing all sorts of things, you know? You're very involved in the scene here in Hollywood.
Yeah, always running around, always trying to run around, but I'm glad to be here finally at the beautiful Red Booth.
Thank you.
Beautiful, rich Corinthian leather. Love it.
It's authentic.
Yeah, very nice, very nice, very nice.
So you have been a drummer, a professional drummer, for quite a while.
Yeah, maybe about 20 years I've been taking it pretty professionally.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I've been playing for
So
30
since
something
you were like
years.
5.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Smooth moves, turbo. But no, since I'm 10 years old, been playing the drums and traveled, 35 countries, 48 states. Kind of cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. That your drumming takes you all over the world.
It's the biggest, coolest blessing ever. I've never paid to travel. I've gone to 35 countries, and I think I've really only paid for one ticket once when I traveled somewhere because it was a vacation.
Nice.
To Australia, but yeah, never had to pay, and always been paid, which is cool, because
You get paid to rock.
who doesn't love that?
Can you imagine?
I'm trying to budget right now a trip with me and my girl to go to freaking Hawaii. It's like $2,500. I'm like, maybe I can get a band to go over there like a week. Yeah,
There you go.
for sure.
And what are some of the bands that you've been sort of traveling
Okay,
with?
so brief history. The Dickies, TSOL, Head PE, Rhino Bucket, the Cadillac Tramps, Doyle from the Misfits, and then just recently I was working with Bullet Boys
Cool.
on tour, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So you're sort of punk then, would you say?
I'm sort of punk, but sort of not. It's just kind of a thing that happened because, like, hey, this guy's got a hairdo, and hey, we need a drummer. Hey, So you kind of get typecast in a way, but yeah,
Because of the mohawk?
Because of the mohawk and because of the tattoos and the different bands that you've been in, and it's that genre, so they're looking for the same type of guy. But I've laid down really soft, cool, mellow beats behind female singers before live on tour, and
You're like,
yeah, just whatever the case may be. I love music. I love to play music. So wherever it brings me and with whomever it brings me, I'm down.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to me, the drummer is kind of the backbone of the band, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you're the one that sets the tempo of everything.
That want to debate that, they're just egotistical guitar players or singers. The fact of the matter is, I have no problem saying that, without a really good drummer,
He's like, and I'll say it again.
there's a lot of stuff that goes on. Guys, am I right? Am I right? Seriously. Like, you can go to a club, right? And the guitar player, wing diddly bang diddly wing diddly bang diddly wing diddly bang, right? Well, if the drummer's up there, you're all like, yo, I'm out. So the point is,
If the drummer sucks, you're going to bail, basically.
Throw Rush up on stage with a bad drummer. Throw the Foo Fighters up on stage with a bad drummer. The songs will never come across. They'll never have impact. Debate over.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point. What do you think about that,
I mean,
guys?
it's true. It's true. But the same can be said for super heavy guitar rock driven bands. You know what I mean? Like Van Halen, garbage without Eddie Van Halen. So it just all kind of depends. But for me,
Primus without a good bassist.
Primus without Les Claypool, right? But yeah, that's a whole episode.
But seriously though, all the other members of the band are going to take their cues from the drummer.
Yeah, there's so many things that a drummer does that subconsciously and without the audience knowing, he does and he controls. And it's a cool perspective.
Like what? Like what?
Well, we control the tempos and we control whether or not the singer's going to fall on his face, if we're going to speed it up, if we're not playing to click tracks and stuff like that. So those are big responsibilities, and you have to kind of control all that stuff and pay attention to that stuff.
Like when you're playing live, you're saying no click track, that means live.
Well, yeah, if you're playing live in a band like TSOL, for instance, we never use the click track. That's a surprise. We never use the click track. We never use the set list. It was always just throw and go and just throw down. It was dangerous, and it's a big responsibility to be that dangerous, but it's also a big responsibility to be that guy that's in charge of the charts and the sequences and the electronics and all the different aspects of firing off the song in time. It's a big job. It's a big job. It's getting to be more of a big job too as the music industry changes.
Being the drummer.
Yeah, because there's so much music on tracks, and there's so much sound, enforcement and reinforcement and help during live that they just have the drummer run everything from the back.
Really?
Yeah, sure.
All the electronic stuff.
Yeah, the drummer might be firing off a pattern that allows the beginning of the whole chorus to begin. So wherever they're in, if they're vamping midsection with Beyonce, they're vamping midsection with Beyonce, go to the chorus, bam! He hits the one, and the one starts from 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3, to where the background vocals might come in, to where a horn hit might come in, and it's all in time. So as the drummer, you gotta sit down and go, rings,
I so wish we had their drums right now, man.
So yeah, no, it would be really annoying. I have ADD, but yeah, it's getting to be a really, really big part of music. So luckily, drummers are now starting to be hired more as musical directors and as leaders of different projects because they're the guys in the back who are holding it all together.
Interesting.
As you initially said.
Wow. Okay. Well, we have to take a quick break.
Do it.
We'll be right back with Tiny. So welcome back to the Red Booth Show. We are here with Tiny, who's been drumming his way around the world.
I try. I love it. My favorite place to be, Prague.
Really?
Prague, sick. Have you ever been? Oh.
No.
Anyone? Like Eastern Europe? Oh man, that Prague. It's great. Super old Gothic city, dark, lots of statuary, dark statuary, a lot of bondage, dark Gothic bondage statuary.
Really?
Yeah. The bridge from old Prague to New Prague is adorned with all of these incredible statues that are in these
gargoyles or.
Whoa! I just caught a freaking look at that. Did you guys see that? This shirt's way too tight. All right. But they have like this bridge, and there's 1, 2, 3. I'm going to say there's like 5 or 6 on either side of the bridge, and they're each one of them, no lie, not being dramatic for your viewers, they're more disturbing than the next.
Really?
Yes. One of them has 3 or 4 wolves or large dogs ripping a man to bits in this really awesome like case with bars on it.
Not creepy at all.
Yeah, so it was like he's in a cage and he's being eaten.
Oh, good.
By the dogs, and then there's like all these sexual ones, a lot of bondage ones, a lot of tied up.
On the bridge.
Yeah, it's trippy. There's a lot of really dark Gothic stuff in. And for whatever reason, the hookers are really old and nar. For real. I don't know if we can say that on your show, but sorry. I just remember, like we're driving down this one part, and the guy's like, "Oh, this is where all the women of ill repute hang." I'm like, "Oh, what? So this is where the hookers hang? Okay, cool. What we got?" I mean, I'm not the type, but I'm definitely like a people watcher type. So, yeah, it was trippy. It was kind of like I was expecting some kind of a bridge game or a pinochle to start happening over there because they were elderly.
Oh, I just snorted.
Okay, next subject. But Prague. What's really cool is when you're walking down.
The road.
Yeah, anywhere in Europe when you're walking down the road, because it doesn't happen here in America really, and you look up and you're looking at it, it's like what is this? And you ask one, you're like, what is that? And they're like, oh, that is an old Roman wall that they did not want to remove. Oh, cool. So like around London, there's these different spots that just have these humongous, like 10-foot wide, 20, 30-foot high walls that are made with rocks this big.
I mean, it's crazy over there in Europe. You're going to find all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, because people complain about doing labor now. And you had to like take a rock this big every day, like a bucket of them. You were like, hey, Shmuley, go over to take those rocks and just start putting them in mortar. I mean, by the end of the day, you might have had like a 1 foot tall wall, like
Sounds
that big.
horrible.
You know what I mean? So many of them. It was unbelievable.
Well,
It's
that's-
daunting to see old buildings like that and think of the amount of work that goes into that.
Where did you play when you were in Prague? Like, what venue was
Oh,
it?
I forget. It was literally like a punk rock club. You know, I don't get the amazing fortune of some of my great. I have friends. All my friends, they fly to their gigs in Learjets and earn about 6 or 7 figures more than me. But you know, I'm just one of those guys who's like, I'm fueled by the music, fueled by the passion of playing. Not a lot can keep me from it, unless it's like getting away with business or whatever. I've got other things going on, but it's just something that I always want to do. So a lot of times I'm playing, you know, just clubs that are 1,000, 2,000 capacity. Most of the times it's 100 or 200 people. Smoky punk rock clubs, people just going off. People right there in front of you. You're like demanding a fan because the smoke from the cigarettes is just like killing you. It's just like, it's this thing. We played an armory in France in,
It must be interesting hearing French people yelling like rock music.
It's interesting just being around French people. That's another whole subject. But in Germany, we were in this armory.
Bonjour.
We were in this armory, and it was under a castle. And if I have a lisp right now, it's because I have a retainer. I'm getting like a friggin' implant in my tooth. Hi, how you doing?
Oh.
Anyway,
That's not fun.
yeah, it's heinous. But I was in this armory, and there's a whole bunch of skulls and bones.
Totally matches your pants.
Yeah, it totally
He has
matches
skeleton
everything
pants,
about
by the way.
me.
Yeah, pretty much. The rings. Look at this.
It was just the craziest thing to be in this thing where they used to hold all the muskets and all the cannonballs and stuff like that. And it was a small thing that was cut out under the. We went actually under a moat. So while we were walking to the venue, the ceiling was weeping because there was water above us. It was a moat that was around the castle. So we walked under this moat, then we went into the
How did
armory.
you fit under there?
It was beyond a fire hazard. Okay, let's not even talk about that. It was like 100 people in a room with an opening like this for you guys to get out, stick your head out to get out. It was literally like that. It was like this big. You were like, hold on, let me get out. You know, and so.
That sounds scary.
And I'm in the back corner
I just
playing,
figure
and no lie, in the back corner I look over and there's a skull with a candle on it. And I touch it. I'm thinking like I got an Oz prop or something like that from the store. This is a real skull with a candle jammed into the top of it from a hatchet hole in the head. I'm like, this is rad. That's not happening here. It's not happening here at the KC Rock Bar in KC, Missouri, whatever.
No.
No, it's happening only in Europe. So that's what's cool.
Because they have so many old dead bodies everywhere, you know, from like thousands and thousands of years.
There are so many old
that you can
dead
just
people.
like dig up some skeletons, man.
There's so many
okay,
old
this
dead
is
people.
getting really dark. It's really
Well,
getting dark.
Dark. Okay, Czechoslovakia. We're talking about.
On that note, we have to take a break.
Oh
actually.
God, Prague!
No
Go
more,
see it.
No more skeletons, okay? Just kidding. All right.
I'm pausing.
Take a break.
Like at the
We'll
end
be
of
right
Give Me a
back.
Break.
Welcome back to the Red Booth Show. I'm here with Tiny.
Hello.
This is so fun having you on my show.
You know, I think I need to get this out of the way. I like to be referred to as Anthony Tiny Biuso, the internationally unknown, seldomly recorded artist.
Well,
Just kidding.
Too bad for you. Just
I know, it's all good. But you know what's funny? Let me just say this. Kids, go out there and play music. Don't listen to what anybody says. 35 countries, 48 states. No one has really any idea who I am. That doesn't bother me.
But you've played with so many
It doesn't
huge
bother
bands.
me. But the point is, you don't have to be famous to have a
They're-
great life in music. You really don't. You don't have to be famous.
Honestly, that's the thing, is there's so many people that are a part of the music industry and huge success, successful bands.
I could tell you names of people that you'd be like, who's that? And they are friggin' huge. They have like
course.
tons of, it's just crazy. The
know.
music business is so great that it's so varied that people are able to carve out a niche for themselves in so many different ways now. It's great. I like it.
Yeah, it's true. And then people usually end up, learning just like the singers' names or like certain bands, and then
Yep.
but they don't know who's been in all the bands, even
Yep.
if they're some of the biggest bands ever.
Absolutely.
Like even you could have all the members from Ozzy Osbourne, right?
Right.
They've had some changes, and
Yeah.
you don't. Who are they?
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you gonna Google it?
You do.
You'd go to Google.
Well, you got Tommy Clufetos on drums.
He knows.
And you got Rob Blasco on bass. Rob Blasco used to play bass in this band called Yesterday's Tear. God bless Rob Blasco because he kind of has had a great career.
See, that's what I love about you.
Rob Zombie.
You know all these
White
guys.
Zombie. Ozzy. I used to see him at the Coconut Teaser. Shout out, Sunset Boulevard, Coconut Teaser. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's what I said. I said all my friends fly to their gigs in Learjets and earn 6 figures more than me. So if I can wake up every day with a positive attitude and not be jaded and pissed off, anybody can. Right? For sure.
But you were like at the Lucky Strike. You've been doing lots of different like venues around town as well, right? Mm-hmm. And playing with some pretty great musicians still.
Yeah.
Like you still are gigging.
It's really like I was talking about the music business and how it changes, so we just have to come up with new ways to do things and promote ourselves. So to get out there and play some of the jams and get out there and do some of the things that you wouldn't normally be doing, playing cover tunes, or I was just thinking about this the other day. My friend Ray Luzier from Korn, he literally had a wig on.
No big deal.
Yeah, no big deal. He literally had a wig on like weeks before he went to go do the Korn audition and was playing disco songs.
No.
Yeah, because he takes all the gigs. I mean, he played with a bunch of fantastic bands before that, like David Lee Roth Band and Army of Anyone. We went to school together at MI 20-something years ago. So
shout out to
just,
MI.
Yeah, it's just, it's just one of those things where you're like for me, I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Oh, wait, my buddy was wearing a wig. And then he got the Korn gig. So you really kind of got to do everything. You kind of can't say yes to everything before you can totally afford to say no to everything.
That's a good point. That's a
or
good
something,
point.
no to something, Yeah.
How do you think people do make like that big money like in the business? Like, is it all for having a good contract and royalties?
The first and foremost thing is like supreme crushing talent, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, that's the first and foremost thing. And then it's just how you market yourself, maybe perhaps how you're marketed, like perhaps like Taylor Swift is a great songwriter. Had she been marketed maybe more as a gypsy poet like a Stevie Nicks, she would not have gotten the success that she has now as a pop singer. Even though I guarantee you she could probably write songs like that. But they were like, no, we need a pop singer, we need a young girl who's really youthful and an influencer and all that kind of stuff. This is not so much an influencer and isn't going to go with the pop route, so we're going to go this. So it just, it's just all about how you market things, how you create this, the drama and the demand around your product. You only need 1,000 people to buy $100 worth of your stuff every year, and you got like a $100,000 economy. So if a band's out there and you got 1,000 fans, try to get $100 worth of sales out of those people, because the $100 that's $100,000. So I did the math right. I'm a drummer, but I mean I know math. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. So,
yeah, well, I mean, if you get your fan base to grow, then they're gonna be making the money off the downloads. That's the whole thing, is we have to make sure people get money from the downloads. But it's like buying CDs. Do people buy CDs?
Yeah. Well, nowadays the economy that people are creating for themselves on the road is different. You got the meet and greets, you got the artist, you got the artist clinics and stuff like that. So artists are getting money from their companies and from different sponsors that they endorse around the country to go to different music stores and different drum shops and stuff like that. So that's kind of cool.
That's
so now,
like sponsorship.
Yeah, so now a musician can get a little bit more. If they're only making X amount of dollars a week, now they can get a couple extra bucks from their sponsors, because now sponsors are helping out artists and giving them a couple of bucks and stipends towards these types of things, because they're saving money on the marketing and the ads and all the usual stuff that these companies used to do.
Interesting.
Yeah, because social media is helping us out for free.
True. That's true. It's definitely changing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so how did you first get into drumming? And when did you begin?
It's funny. I always talk about this, and the best way to put it is I got into music before puberty. Before I noticed that girls like musicians, I loved music.
So you legit wanted to be a musician?
Yeah, and I kind of look.
That's what that means.
I kind of look at people like a little bit. Like I kind of ask people sometimes, "Hey, what?" And when they tell me girls, I don't know if I'm that interested in like the real core of them.
Right.
I'll take their talent, but I don't know if because I know the motivations are going to be a little different. Me, I just want to play. I just want to have a good time. I want people to be stoked. I want the kid to come up on stage and have a good time. I don't really care about the girl that's looking at me. I've been there. I've done that. I'm older now. None of that is really important. It's more important about having like really good, real things happen on the road. Real things. You wake up every day, you meet someone, you have a good time, you wake up, you go see a friend, you travel, you visit this guy over here because you haven't seen him since the last time you were in Germany. Those are the things that you do. I could care less about the rest of it.
Yeah, but that's an interesting thing you're bringing up about the girls.
Yeah.
Because obviously the rock bands, well, shoot, we just have to take a break.
Go ahead.
Okay, but we'll be right
Girls.
back. We'll be right back with Anthony Tiny Biuso. Welcome back to the Red Booth Show, where everything happens during the commercial breaks.
Oh, yes. Well, the
Apparently.
good. We talk about the goods during
Yes.
the commercial break.
Yeah. You thought the cameras weren't on.
Dun, dun, dun! What's that? Is that the Instagram filter?
So this is an interesting topic. You have obviously toured with a lot of these big bands.
Yeah.
And we're talking about girls.
Yeah.
Okay. So the musicians who go on the road and want to do it for the girls, that's a funny thing. They like grew up going, there's this amazing rock star, and they have all these like they get the ladies.
Yeah.
Right? But it's true though. I
Yeah.
mean, the rock stars do, and that's the problem. That's one of the problems I think that I've heard, at least from, they get kind of burned out from this kind of lifestyle.
Eventually, you're like, how do you love me? Do you love me? Look, it's a question that we all have. Like, how am I being loved? How do you love me?
Yeah.
Why do you love me?
Yeah.
What is it about me that you love?
Yeah.
So those are the things that, as a person, if you're thinking about those things on a daily basis, that makes you have a relationship that's more real.
Right.
Because now, I'm not talking from like, I'm so holier than thou, I've always been this way, because I haven't. But as you get older, you're kind of like, whoa.
Totally.
People are people. And this is before the whole Me Too movement, you know what I mean? This is before it was very, very, very well known that on a daily basis, these assholes are treating women like this, right?
Yeah.
I see.
I've seen articles in like Heavy Metal magazine.
Yeah, I
and,
mean,
like,
I've seen it a
they're
million.
like, you just have to just deal with it. You know,
I see it all the time,
bleep it out.
and the thing that I may have seen that I was like, oh God. I mean, I haven't seen anything really too deplorable, but when you're just like, oh God, really?
No,
you're gonna throw bologna meat on that girl's butt right now? I mean, I know she likes it and she's having fun.
What about
But
the what about
I
the
want a
NDA
sandwich. I need to eat
contracts,
right now, and that's
the-
my food. I'm not even joking. That was a conversation that I had one day. I was like, that's my food, and you're throwing it on some girl's butt.
What are you doing with my bologna?
She seems to be loving
That's
it. I'm
my
not gonna
bologna.
like knock the whole process, but right now I'm looking for a bologna sandwich because I'm in a van.
Okay, have you ever heard
This
of...
is 20 years ago
have
too.
Have you ever heard of them getting girls to sign like NDAs or abortion agreements? Blah blah.
No,
I've heard about this before. I don't know.
I mean, I haven't, but I mean, I've heard
it
of a
just
lot.
went
I've
really
heard of a
dark
lot
again.
of different weird things that probably go down. I mean, that does happen.
Yeah.
I've never heard that, but it most certainly. I mean, look at, wasn't there something about Derek Jeter did that? Didn't Derek Jeter do that? Like he's macking on the girls all the time so much that his limo driver had contracts ready all the time. Like, all right, Susie, yeah, this is Susie. Why don't you sign this here? And so I'm sure that goes on.
Well,
I haven't seen. Yeah,
it's
like
just-
again, I haven't seen anything too deplorable.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely guilty for sure of being like a super overly pervy Mac Daddy at sometimes. And in certain situations, that's just what's going on when you were 25 years younger and everyone is in the situation as a consenting adult. No one wants to hurt anybody, and these things now you can't even mess around with it anymore. You can't even go up to a really awesome, gorgeous girl at a club and be like, "Hey, baby, how you doing?" Because she's gonna be like, "Hey, what's the deal, dude? Seriously, I'm just here to have fun at your show. I'm not here to be an object of your desire." So and then
Is that true? Really?
Yes,
You
yes.
can't?
And so no, not so
it
much,
that
but
bad?
it's
It's
a
swung the
it's a
other
debatable
direction?
topic. I would certainly say.
Really?
Yes. And
Even
so,
with like it, like just any
but I
big...
get it. I absolutely get it, ladies. I'm not passing judgment on you. I absolutely get it. But when do we stop? Like when do we stop? When do we just say to everybody, okay, look, you are responsible to be good and to be a real person and to not hurt people. You're over 18 years of age now. You should know better. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. But now everyone, I smack a girl in the ass, I'm going to get sued. That's cray-cray. Sorry. It's wrong, but it's cray-cray.
Well, I think it depends if it's like amenable to her and the vibe and
Look,
stuff.
it's all
about that.
Look, I don't want
You know
anyone
what
to
I
ever
mean?
be victimized.
Yeah,
I don't want to start getting all this
it's the
hate mail.
circumstances.
Circumstances tend to create circumstances. And so now I never put myself in those circumstances. I'm never in those circumstances anymore, is the point. I'm not around that. I don't take part in that. I
was just bringing it
tour
up
like that.
because it's an interesting part of the music industry, and I think it's also for the female side of it very interesting. Like,
well, because
like
there's girls,
Ford, right?
look,
Lita
there's girls
Ford.
that go out on tour and they love it. This is what they do. They go out to just mac on band dudes and they love it.
What
they're
about
attracted to
female
men.
stars? What about female lead singers that are really famous?
Yeah.
And they go out. Do they do that too?
I don't know.
No, because so Lita Ford
I
came
hope
out
so.
recently and
I
talked
don't
about.
know. I don't know.
She talked about some of the other rockers that she's hooked up with.
Oh, wow.
But she got a bunch of crap for that, like as if that's so bad. And I'm like, really, give me a break compared to what these like rocker guys have done. Like, why is there such a double standard? What do you have to say about that?
I don't know if it's a double standard. It's probably now she's older with kids and she's a mom. So.
But that was back in the day.
Yeah,
We're talking about the 80s.
Yeah, no. Does anybody in this room not realize that there's double standards all day? It's all day. like here's the thing. Like I can go buy a knife at Bateman Sporting Goods on Hollywood Boulevard this long, but if I walk out the store with it, I'm arrested for having a knife. Huh? So it goes on all day. You know, that's the smallest level.
Yeah.
But no, man. You know, I make jokes about, you know, like this type of thing, just about the rights. I'm not making light of it. It's just that I kind of also.
You mean the Me Too stuff?
Everything, not necessarily, not just that. Everything. I just go, wow, really? Thanks so much, Facebook, for telling me I should stick up for myself. Hey, thanks everyone for telling me I should punch that guy in the face for touching me in the wrong way. It should be going on all the time. And I get it. Some people are pushed, some people are messed with, some people are held responsible. I mean, the stuff that's going on with Les Moonves now is like ridiculous. There's all these allegations coming out that this guy actually like went to the set, crapped all over this girl on the set, and made her lose her agent, made her lose all her bookings and all this kind of stuff because she wouldn't have sex with the guy. That's insanely wrong. That's insanely wrong. But it gets lumped in with all of these other little things. And then all of a sudden, a guy who's just having a really good time on the road, who might want to get laid after the show, is like the worst person in the world.
No, it's not so bad.
It does happen. Well, look. Now we just had a thing on the Warped Tour where a Me Too woman's
Somebody
group,
got laid?
Yeah, that never happened on the Warped Tour. But someone just went out and had a big Me Too movement about a guy who normally in his act makes a joke about, oh, I'd love to go down on each and every one of you, but I don't have the time. The singer for the Dickies, right?
Okay.
Leonard said that to the crowd of teenage people. Okay? Looked out into the crowd, and he said it every night when I was in the band. I played hundreds of shows with them. No one said a thing.
Yeah.
But now we have this Me Too movement, losing their mind. So the point is that back then it was still bad. It's always going to be bad. Don't let these little things
I think you would know that
light
he
a
was
fire
joking.
under your butt to like light people up.
I
Just
think
always be diligent.
The difference is that people took that as a joke kind of back at that time.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. And you know what?
Whereas now it's not.
None of it's really ever been a joke. Once you cross the physical, like tactile touching of somebody, it's not a joke.
No, I'm saying what he said to
talking,
the crowd.
yeah,
What he said to the
of
crowd.
course,
It's like it's a joke.
Totally. I mean, he goes, oh, you look like a great bunch of folks out there. I'd love to go down on each every one of you, but I don't have the time. You know?
It's just a joke.
Oh, okay. You'd like to?
Anyways.
Someone went, oh my God.
We literally just ran out of time, but like this is a very funny topic that we could do a whole show about.
I'm paused. You're not.
To be. But you do so much more. You do charities. You help homeless people.
I love it.
I mean, he literally.
If you
does,
need
like,
some
a lot
help
of
raising
stuff.
some money for something, or someone's sick, or you need a dog helped, hook me up. I post some things. I share some things. Next thing you know.
Like, you know, you are helping the homeless. You have a whole charity. It's
I have
really
5,000
cool.
friends on my
check-
Facebook and 4,000 on my Instagram, and those 9,000 people alone, I can enact and like get stuff done. I don't need 100,000 followers.
You totally have an active fan base that's really, really, you know, interacting with you, and it's awesome. And, you know, I'm just really glad to have you on the show finally.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
And it was fun to meet you when I think you were at the Lucky Strike when we first met.
Right.
And, who else was there? We had some really great, I think, Nuno Bencorp or somebody.
Yeah. The Lucky Strike jams are always
they're always
just great.
great.
Because there's so many people there and so many amazing players. You know, it's like, it's ridiculous.
And Quentin Tarantino was there.
Yeah, Quentin Tarantino.
Seriously, I was
was
at the
there.
bar right next to him. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
go out to these jams in Hollywood. Go out and see bands. You never know. One night I randomly was like, okay, I'll play this gig tonight with Joe Bonamassa, Richie Sambora, and Orianthi. I'll play some drums. Sure, why not? I'm not doing anything. It's a Sunday. So you never know what's going to happen here in Hollywood. It's a good time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
Everybody should go and follow you at
Tiny Bubs with a Z official
Tiny
on
Bubs.
Instagram. At Tiny Bubs with a Z official. And then Anthony Tiny Biuso, Biuso, on Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for rocking.
Red Booth!